Welcome back to the channel. This is Football Temple brought to you by Asisat Studios. The 2024 Women African Cup of Nations is on. And of course, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, our Super Falcons of Nigeria, going for their 10th title, the La Decima or Mission X, anyhow you like to call it, started their campaign with a 3-0 win over Tunisia. The Bishop joins me to look at the Falcons' first game and of course other games that have played out at the ongoing Women African Cup of Nations, the WAFCON, the 13th edition. New trophy, $1 million incentive, and plenty to look out for. The Bishop, fantastic weekend for Nigerian women football. Great result for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Even though performance-wise, scoreline, fatal to deceive, was performance-wise, there was plenty to be talked about.
Yeah, exactly. You just took it out of my mouth. What a way to start Mission X. You want to start every tournament with on winning note. 1, 2, 3. Courtesy goes from Asisat Oshoala. Of course, not forgetting a beautiful finish as well from
Omorinsola Babajide.
Exactly, and of course the third goal from Chinwendu Ihezuo after that powerful header downward from, of course, Esther Okonkwo, who was also named the man of the match. So for me, it's a good start. Like you said, maybe not the perfect performance, but it's a tournament. And in tournament you get better as the tournament progresses. The first half was a bit topsy-turvy, but in the second half, I think the changes made by Coach Madugu made massive impact. The girls started playing better, creating a lot of chances. Albeit they didn't score lots of goals, just one goal by Chinwendu. But again, you could see that the coach, at least, you could see that the fact that the coach understands the team and he knows what to change and what to tweak to get them to play better. But again, you don't want to see. You can't take away a win. A win is contagious. They start with a win, and that's the way to know to go for the crowd. Don't forget, they are one of the favorites to win the tournament. They've won it 9 times in 12 editions, and they want to start on a high note.
Well, they want to start on a high note. You cannot take that away from the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Let's now talk about the style of play, how we started the game. Asisat Oshoala surprisingly started that game.
Yeah.
It looked like the Super Falcons went with, should I say, 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 formation. Henry, you want to put it with, of course, Alimatu Ainde and Deborah Abiodun in the middle of the park as the holding midfielders, and Tony Payne just ahead of them. Yeah. And on the flank, we had Omorinsola Babajide, we had Rashida Ajibade, and of course, Asisat Oshoala, leading the line, who, of course, got the first goal for Nigeria. For playing against a side like Tunisia, for me, I feel like, come on, why do we go with the pivot? Why going with a double? I would have expected maybe just a Deborah Abiodun to play in that game, or probably a Christy Uchebe, put Abiodun and Ajibade put Abiodun, I beg your pardon, and of course and Ainde on the bench, and play more explosive players. Esther Okonkwo, Chinwendu Ihezuo should have started that game and be more explosive, but come on, like I said,
I think it was
the coach knows why.
Yeah, it was a bit cautious. Like I said, it's the first game. Even in as much that we are favorite and the girls professionals playing in top tiers and top league in Europe, you just don't want to give it away. I think what he did was size the opponent when he saw that they're not as good as we thought they were, and then second half he became more explosive. Albeit the fact that they were not clinical on the night, it should have been worse. I think the scoreline does not tell the whole story, especially in the second half where there are a lot of misses there from, of course, Osinacho had that miss again, the golden opportunity. I don't know how she missed that. It was easier to score than to hit the ball over the bar, but yet again she missed it. So the first time it was a bit drabby. Yes, 2-0, but it wasn't convincing. I was not happy with what I saw. Especially against a team like Tunisia, they couldn't string 1, 2, 3 passes together. They were struggling with the transition. They struggled with the cohesion. They struggled with creating chances, even breaking the Tunisian down. The first goal was just like a free kick from Omorinsola. He hits the back of Oshoala and then bang. The second goal was simply individual brilliance and a mistake from the back by Tunisia. But the second half, you could see that they began to break
cohesion.
Exactly. They began to break the back line of Tunisia. Got to create chances. Again, they were not clinical like we expected them should have been. But again, like I said, the coach understands why he went with that cautious approach. But anyway, it's the first game. But important thing they say in tournament format is getting the victory. It's 3 points in the bag, 3 goals, and most importantly for Chiamaka Nnadozie, the fact she kept a clean sheet to start the tournament will boost the confidence of her and of course her backline, which again, speaks itself. So
let's talk about Omorinsola Babajide. Yeah. Player of the match. Even though Esther Okonkwo was announced player of the match by, of course, the CAF Confederation of African Football. Yeah. But player of the match for me was Omorinsola Babajide, a goal and assist. Our first goal for Nigeria coming at the right time, scoring, of course, at the WAFCON. Oshoala scored the first goal for Nigeria and all of that. And then she did the goal celebration to Diogo Jota, paying tribute to, of course, our former Liverpool teammate.
yeah.
For many who don't know, of course, Omorinsola Babajide played for Liverpool,
yeah.
Between the year 2018 and 2022 before she left, of course, the Premier League, and then moved over to Spain, where she currently plays football in Spain. So she understands. She played with Diogo Jota, and of course, if you go to several of her social media, she always tweets about Diogo Jota. Is a player she admires.
She was close,
and she also wore the jersey number 20, during that time at Liverpool, the same number Diogo Jota wore. The celebration sparked some controversies, of course, online, saying, why not celebrate? Of course, you lost Peter Rufai and all of that, but come on, Nigerians, let's
come on, don't forget, she was
also
also a junior international for the Three Lions.
Yeah, of course.
So she has that affiliation with Liverpool, England. After all, Asisat Oshoala dedicated her own goal to Peter Rufai. Absolutely.
To Jota.
So for me, I don't think it matters. What matters is about the team play. Even though I wasn't convinced, I think she lacked a bit of pace in the attack. But like you said, in front of goal, the way she took the own goal was little. Very clinical, bang on the money, smacked the ball into the back of the net, and there was no chance for the goalkeeper. But again, I still think this too is a work in progress. I think she played a part. Esther Okoronkwo as well had a fantastic second half. I understand why she was an impact sub. I think when she came in, she was the catalyst to change, to the feeling around the team.
Alongside Uchebe.
Exactly, Uchebe. What a Trojan she was. I see no reason why she was sitting on the bench. No, I think she's the best midfielder we've got in the team at the moment. And we saw that with our team in Benfica, and which wins a lot of laurel. So he came in, turned the game around, created a lot of chances. Again, Esther Okoronkwo, he crashed the bar in that game, created and had an assist as well. So I see the reason why they picked her. It's not about the impact. Omorinsola was starting the game. It was a bit drabby, a bit neither here nor there, but she got her assist. But with Esther, I think she upped the ante, up the tempo of the game, and that's why I think she was picked the best player of the
Justin Madugu convinced with his selection, his team play, and everything.
I'm not convinced. To be sincere with you, I'm not convinced. In the first half, I was like, what was he thinking? There's some players. Asisat Oshoala has played 11 games in WSL this season and scored no goal. So why should he be in the starting lineup? I know she's got the X factor of 6-time African Footballer of the Year, but you're going to pick players, you're going to pick Bella based on form. And that's the way I see it. So I think Esther Okoronkwo had no business not starting that game. Chris Uchebe had no business not starting that game. And of course, not forgetting this young lady, Jennifer Chegini, who came in to play more like a cameo for me, barely 3 or 4 minutes in the game. Like I said, it's the first game. He would learn. Hopefully he has learned. Don't forget, this is his first tournament as the head coach. So there's a lot of learning, of course. He's got some good backroom staff. I'm changing it. All of them behind him as well. So I'm not giving the benefit of the doubt, but I think if you're looking at the first half, it was really bad. But again, we're going to take solace from the fact that in the second half, the girls played better. They upped the ante. They still, it's a work in progress. A lot of work to be done, but far better than what we saw in the first half.
Well, in the second group game, Nigeria's group, Algeria defeated Botswana by a goal to nil. The Super Falcons next take on Botswana.
Yeah.
In their next game on Thursday. A win will all but guarantee Nigeria's progression to the quarterfinals of the competition. Any upset?
No problem. I watched Botswana against Algeria. I felt they were quite unlucky not to get a point.
Yeah,
I think they were quite even. But Algeria, what a finish! The technique of that goal, bang. Wepa was stranded. I think she took her to Iceland, and it was that good. But I think on the night, I think they were both evenly matched teams. Botswana will feel hard done by they didn't get a result from that game. But it's football. Football, if you don't take your chances, all you do is sulk, and that's what they would do. But I don't think Nigeria will have any problem against Botswana. What I saw, if they play the way they played in the second half, maybe a little bit more better. I think it could be even more convincing than what we saw against Tunisia.
Well, let's go to the other games that played out so far at the Women's African Cup of Nations, and on Saturday it was the host nation, talking about Morocco, who got it off against the Zambians. Of course, both sides have finished as semi-finalists and finalists, let me put it that way, from the last edition of the WAFCON, and it was Barbara Banda, of course, the reigning African
first minute of the game
player of the year, with the first goal of the tournament to put Zambia ahead. But the Moroccans, I beg your pardon, showed why they are also a force to reckon when it comes to women football in Africa. Equalized, of course, when Zambia went ahead again to Tabita.
Through Kudumanji.
Kudumanji, I beg your pardon. Kudumanji, Rachel Kudumanji. They came back again talking about
Kraslin
Chabak to score that equalizer, and he ended 2-2.
Yeah.
And even
I think that's the most exciting thing I've watched since the tournament began. Fireworks, Morocco, like I said, were finalists. They've got some wonderful players. Gerardo Giledo scored the penalty from the spot. They've got Chesney Chabak. What a player. Did you see that goal? They turned the finesse, the swagger, which is she plunged that ball into the net. Fantastic finish. But
don't forget Fatima Tabnot.
Exactly. But of course, the strength of Zambia will always be the attack.
Yeah,
Barbara Banda,
Kumanji,
Rachel
Brada,
Jumandi,
Tada.
Tabitha as well. Chawinga. So Chawinga I think is Malawi, not even
Yeah,
Zambia.
Tabitha is Malawi,
It's Malawi.
yeah,
So
of course.
they got fantastic, some fantastic attack, and with some Chanda in midfield and some other young players to help support. But we know how they have the best strikers in Africa at the moment. Barbara Banda and of
Rachel
course
Kumanji.
who was at some point the most expensive player in women's football.
In women's football.
So absolutely. So it tells you.
And then when she joined, was it Bay?
Yeah, it's Bay. I think it's in the US, in the end of
Same club
WSL
with Asisat Oshoala.
So for me, it's a fantastic combo, and they lived up to expectation. But of course, Morocco, technically sound, fantastic manager, quality team, and you saw on the night.
Well, we also saw Senegal, of course, dismantled DR Congo.
I told you so.
First half was done and dusted. I expected more from the Senegalese in the second half, but there was no goal, but no problem.
4 goals to nil, done. Like I did tell you, they're on the rise and they beat Algeria on friendly 3 goals to nil before the tournament proper, and they got into the tournament and they come on the left, no turn unturned. Bang, 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 bang. Braced by 2 of the top striker again. It seems that the strikers are having a good time in this competition. And come on, we saw there was no chance for DR Congo. They couldn't cope.
Well, there was no chance for DR Congo. Keep following the Women's African Cup of Nations on our page. Of course, you will also see videos of the post-match press conference of the Super Falcons coach talking about no other than Justin Madugu and what he had to say, including, of course, what Chiamaka Nnadozie, the goalkeeper of Nigeria, had to say about their victory over Tunisia. The Falcons begin their campaign with a 3-0 win over Tunisia and will next face, I beg your pardon, Botswana in their second game for a place in the quarterfinals. Remember, this competition serves as a qualifier for the next FIFA Women's World Cup. I think it was Brazil.
Yeah.
It will start as the next qualifiers for the FIFA Women's World Cup. So it is a must for the Falcons to get to the semi-finals. At least to guarantee a place in the semi-finals. Like South Africa and Ghana, of course, I will also be in action. Watch out for that game, a blockbuster, don't you? Ghana, Senegal. Ghana, South Africa.
South Africa. They looks like they want to retain their crown, but come on. Ghana are a very strong team as well, but come on. And South Africa will technically sound Sebenze and some other beautiful ladies. Magaya, I think they will get a result.
Well, the Banyana, the girls.
Hopefully, their issues are sorted, exactly. So that doesn't affect their
well, of course, there are only 2 women coaches at the Women's African Cup of Nations. Desiree Ellis is one of the 2. So we'll see how all of those panned out. Stick with Football Tempo as we continue to give you updates from the Women African Cup of Nations. Football Tempo brought to you by Asisat Studios.